And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Shamans, which I believe is, no, it's still not the same thing upside down, but it kind of looks like one of those names. In fact, when I first saw the cover of this, I thought, it just didn't really attract me. It looked, you're some shamans in the future trying to do rituals on a planet, blah, 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 blah. It's a theme that doesn't mean anything before you play the game and go over the rules, and when you're done playing the game, still that way. Doesn't really matter. This is a game, I don't even know how to describe this game, folks. I want to say it's a trick-taking game, but it's not really a trick-taking game. I want to say it's a hidden traitor game, but it's not quite that. It's a combo of those. And before we even go over this, I want to state up front that when I first went over the rules and everything for the game, I thought, man, it looks okay. But I ended up really enjoying it. I say that now so that you don't leave before the review's over, because this game is really fascinating. Let me show you. In this game, players are attempting to get 8 points. The first player to get 8 points is going to win, and you're going to play over several rounds trying to get those points. At the beginning of the round, players are going to have dealt to them whether they are a good shaman or an evil shadow traitor, and it depends on how many players. There's usually just one. If you're playing with 5 players, you'll have 2 of the bad guys. You're also going to start with a shadow marker that's going to start in different spots. It starts all the way over here if you're playing with 5 players. Then there's a deck of cards, which is going to be shuffled and dealt to each player. This deck of cards includes the colors here. So you see there's purple, green, yellow, gray, blue, orange, and red. But you'll take some colors out. Let's say we're playing a 4-player game. You would only use these colors. You would also only use numbers 1 through 6 of each suit. Well, if you're playing a 5-player game, you 1 through 8. Either way, you'll shuffle the cards, give them out to everybody, and essentially you just have various cards that show the different colors, numbers from 1 to 6 in a 3 to 4-player game, or 1 to 8 in a 5-player game. One person goes first. On a player's turn, they simply play any card they want in front of them, and each other player, and that's basically the color of the planet or the color of the area that you are going to be resolving a turn. That's where the ritual is going to be, the world where the ritual is going to be. Each other player can play pretty much any card they want. However, if you play a card that does not match the color that was played first, then that card is immediately placed underneath that card's area, and we move the shadow marker 1 space towards the planet. If the shadow marker reaches the planet, then that round the shadow players are going to win, and any shadow player who is still in the game will get 3 points. So you have to be careful playing those cards. After all the cards have been played like that, the cards of the planet where the ritual is going to be played are looked at. Whoever played the lowest number, in this case the person who played the 2, is going to take one of these 2 tokens or the top face-up token. These tokens will do various things, which I'll explain in a bit. Then whoever played the highest number will take all the cards and stick them, oops, this one went up here, and we'll stick them under here. Now, why are we sticking the cards in these areas? Because when the last card's put in area, in a 3 to 4-player game, the 6th card, in a 5-player game, the 8th card, then whoever puts that card there gets to take the action of that area. This one here simply is get a point. And this one here lets you move the shadow marker. This one lets you switch your roll card with somebody else. But the rest of them show the dagger. If you've gotten a dagger token at any point and you finish one of these sections, then you can immediately eliminate another player from that round. If you eliminate a shaman, a good player, then the shadow marker moves forward equal to the number of cards that are still in their hand. If you eliminate a shadow player, well, that's hooray for you. And if you've eliminated the last shadow player in the game, then the shamans win, and each shaman gets 2 points. And in fact, each shaman will get 2 points if you play all the cards in your hand and the shadow players or player have not won. A few other things, there's tokens like this. If you get 2 of these tokens and you survive the game, the round, you'll get an extra 2 points. And there's a couple other things that will let you move the shadow token in a direction of your choice. When this shows up, and this will be in every game, possibly the Eclipse. Everyone has to pass a card in one direction depending on how it was shuffled in. And then this makes you immediately, if you draw this, you must immediately reveal your roll. That's pretty much it. If you want to see an example of how the game plays in a 3-player game, we'll have a link in the description so you can see us playing it here on the Dice Tower channel. So the card art is very abstract, but it's very pretty, and I think people like it. It has some UV coating on it, and the cards are very easy to tell apart. These are the roll cards. Although, like any game of this type, if you're going to play this often, you'll probably want to sleeve the roll cards. The actual cards themselves here, they show the symbol of what it does on the board, so you don't have to always be looking at the board. Okay, if I finish the green one, then I'll get a dagger. And they have different artwork that differentiates them. Again, it's kind of this abstracted weirdo artwork, but the colors are really cool. I like the numbers, the layout, everything looks really good. This game has kind of a funky Illuminati look to it, but I think for what it comes, it's all in the small box here. It's really well put together. So you can see here why some people would look at this as a trick-taking game, right? I lead a color, everyone else will follow and play a card. But you don't have to follow suit. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, and there's many trick-taking games out there like Hearts, where when someone plays a card, everyone has to play the same kind of card. But in this game, you're supposed to play the same kind of card, except you can say, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't play that card. And then you move the shadow forward one, which makes people suspect that you're the shadow, which makes them want to get the dagger and then kill you, which will end the round. It's a really fascinating back and forth game. It scales really well between 3 to 5 players. And I don't know how else to explain it, folks, but like I said, the best way is for you to watch us playing it here on the channel. Because as I played it, it's so fascinating because I don't feel like being the bad guy or the good guy really affects how you play in some sense. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm not sweating if I'm the bad guy. Instead, I'm trying to think how I can win. Even if the other players know I'm the bad guy, maybe I can finish the thing and then switch with somebody else and turn into a good guy at the end. It's a game where counting cards is really important. I'm sitting there thinking, who has what cards? When do we play them? And then those tokens there on the side. You take the tokens. You want to get the extra points if possible, but maybe you want a dagger because getting that dagger allows you to take somebody out later in the game. There's a lot of different things that can happen in this game, and I find it to be really intriguing. You are never once bored, like sitting there, okay. Every card feels like a momentous decision that you're making, which is pretty impressive. I don't know, though, who I'm recommending this to. Trick-taking games, and I'm a big fan of trick-taking games. You sit there, you play the cards, you think it's clever. This has a little bit of that in it. It is clever, but it also has a bit of negotiation in a sense, or at least a bit of bluffing, as in, I'm sorry, I don't have any red cards, when I clearly do have red cards. And so you have to, there's table talk, but it's not if you love Resistance and Werewolf, I'm not sure this is the game for you either. This is kind of a halfway point between trick-taking and deduction games. And I know if I had, pitched that to people, I could see a lot of people going, yeah, that's not for me at all. I don't want those mixed together. And I might have agreed with you had I just heard it. But the combination here and watching that shadow token slowly inch towards the end, it's really intriguing. It's also really fast. See, in this game, you're not the bad guy every round. Well, you could be, but you're not the bad guy all the time. It's just for one round. So when you get your card at the beginning, whether you're Shaman or Shadow, you're sitting there saying, how do I get points this round? I want to maximize the number of points I get so that I can win. And the game's only going to take so many rounds because eventually someone's going to get 8 points. A game is going to end with likely somebody getting points. So this is a game that I would recommend to a lot of people. It feels like a deduction game, a social deduction game in some ways, although it works with a small group of people. It feels like a trick-taking game in some ways, although it's more about knowing when to play the right card rather than winning tricks. You want to play the 6th or 8th card in a column. It gives you that special ability. And sometimes I will do that even if I'm a good player to move, and it will move the shadow token. Nothing you can do about that. But at the same time, I get to use that special ability, which will hopefully either get me points, because there's a bit of greed there. I don't mind if the Shamans win if I get more points than everybody else. Or just trying to survive the round. It's a fascinating double think back and forth, and it's a game I think a lot of people are going to pass by because I'm not sure this cover shows what's in the box. But hopefully this review will help. This is certainly a game that I don't think you should pass by to check out. I really enjoyed playing it. I'm going to put it in the Dice Tower library. That's Shamans. I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. Dice Tower Judgment approved.